What's up? This is Copy Who, and I'm your host, Paul the producer. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a few days, but I haven't been without labor here, trying to make things better, constantly, obsessing, and it's still not perfect. Okay? I added this TV back here. This feels complete now, and this has some flexibility here. Like I might be able to loop videos on it eventually, but right now it's just a texture. It was empty. I felt empty back there. This is a money shot now. I have 2 money shots on this show. Very pleased with it. Today's been a rough day for me. I slept exceptionally well last night. I have a lot of energy. I got up and worked out, but there are a couple things bothering me. They continue to bother me. I'll probably bring this stuff up vaguely until I actually solve these problems. And I won't be solving these problems. I just have to wait until they die out. Because there are a bunch of parasites making life hell, to be honest with you. Oh, and it's so very all-inclusive when I say parasites on so many levels. People taking advantage of situations. You know, it's a fantasy of mine when I watch The Sopranos. I always think like how efficiently Tony Soprano can solve his problems by sending out Silvio or Paulie Two-Bits or Christopher Moltisanti and say, okay, you go visit A, B, and C. You get them to comply with what I want, A, B, and C. And if they don't, you make them fear for their life. You make them miserable. You frighten the living shit out of them until they comply. That's the efficient way, I say. That's the way the government does it. I tell you. Just a fantasy, though. And let me just assure you, that's just a fantasy. It really is just a fantasy, and I just indulge in it because it's like, it's interesting when life is a pain in the butt and it's springtime and you have taxes coming up and that's a big job and certain various things are driving you bananas and you're like, and I think I got to call the stupid healthcare company again because I think they've been charging me wrong. And they're so stupid. They're so honestly stupid. For real. And so we just say hi to the birds. That's what we do. Greetings, you two. How are you? How are you? I'm glad to see you here. I'm going to pay more attention to you. And I say that, but I don't really mean that. Oh, you know it. I know. I'm grateful for you guys. So we'll just come back here really quick. And the next thing on the agenda is money. Okay? Yes. So I haven't just been busy improving all this over here, okay? Today I was I hung up what do you call it? Over here I hung up a frame that has this picture of Amsterdam on it behind the TV over here. It didn't look good. Got rid of it. I hung up some more studio foam over here. Threw some lights on it. Didn't like it. Got rid of it. Eventually I got to figure out what I'm going to do with behind this TV because this is the part I'm thinking is lacking over here. Over here. That's what I want to fix. It's driving me a little bananas, to be perfectly honest with you. And so I have a few things planned today. And we're going to begin with, you know what I just want to do is I want to start off with this really fast. I got some criticism from some dumbos. Oh, let's cut that off. That's the beginning of another show over here. I got some criticisms from some guys, okay? It's the comments that I got. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to that and you'll see them here, okay? And here's what we're looking at over here, all right? I got 2 comments from people that were strangely, eerily similar. First one from Crash Fistfight. Thought I found a new channel to watch and then you said Def Noodles is funny. Which is about as sane as saying the sky is green. Okay, that's your opinion. And then another one, eerily similar, I wonder if they're the same person. Thought I found a new channel to watch till you said you think Def Noodles is funny. WTF. Bye. You know what? Like, what am I going to chase after a couple people who are like not liking something that I say on here? Like, I say a million different things. I can't sit and concern myself with, so if you guys don't want to watch, because I said, I like basically temper what I say Dennis, sometimes he's funny. He says things. He's a character. He makes me chuckle. He makes me laugh. I don't always agree with the guy. He and I are on vastly different political wavelengths. But I'm also very sympathetic to Dennis. And the reason is I know who's gone after him in the past, and he acts like he's scared of it. I'm not fucking scared of it. Ain't that the truth? I'll tell you, I have a couple witnesses to that effect. It's my birds. I'm not afraid of what Dennis from Def Noodles is afraid of, right? He's Def Noodles. That's his nickname. He's deaf, but I don't like to call him Def. I like to call him Dennis because that's his man name. That's his human name. That's his real personal name, okay? And so I'm not going to really, I'm just talking about it right now for fun, but I'm not going to super concern myself with a couple guys who think if I actually laughed a few times at Dennis, I must not be worthy of watching. He's so lowly that like you just don't even want to talk about, you don't even want to entertain the idea of talking to someone who has a different opinion about him. He's so bad. Where'd you get that idea he was so bad? I don't think he's so bad. We're definitely not on the same political wavelength, but I do have sympathy for him because he acts scared and he quivers when someone comes along and says another certain show is watching, so-and-so is watching, so-and-so is watching, so-and-so is watching. The birds know who I'm talking about, right? You know exactly who I'm talking about because you're the you're the metaphorical embodiment of who I'm talking about right now. I couldn't be less afraid. I welcome them coming after me. I'm not afraid for shit, and it'll be fun. We'll mention him because he's a mention whore and he loves it. I'm talking about the other guy, the one that the birds represent here. And but I like Dennis. If you can't watch me because I like Dennis, too bad. Bye-bye. I like Def Noodles. I like what he does. Have I criticized his production? Do I think he should do more decoration in his studio? You bet your ass. He's got a big following, and why not build it out for them? And so somebody said somewhere like, someone said like, I have 100 times the production and no one listening. And I say, it's been 2 months that I've been doing this, and I've been enjoying myself. Even people who know me personally who've been watching are saying, you seem like you're enjoying yourself. And I am. I'm thrilled because it's been a very long time since I've been creative like this. And it's so cool to be able to copy people and to take things from people and make it my own, adapt it to me. I'm the nucleus of something different. And whatever similarities you see in this shot right here, this ain't that same show. I'm a completely different person. I care about people's feelings. That's the difference. I totally care about people's feelings. Silly me, okay? Silly me. I don't think people care about my feelings as much. I know some people I know do, but I'm just talking about the random average person out there, the listener. I'm looking to build a community here, a tribe of people who like what I do, who want to contribute to this. Speaking of which, I plan on doing more here. What do I mean more? Like devising more bits, maybe having some on the street, man on the street bits, talking to people, asking people some questions, bringing it back here, brainstorming those things a little bit. I welcome other people who want to produce here. If you have good ideas, I would be delighted to have someone produce for this show and become a part of this show. But I'm not offering to pay you anything right now, but I'm willing to give you credit for your hard work. And I also am very much planning on getting guests on here. Like getting people on the screen over here is my plan. And it's technically possible now because I upgraded my software a couple weeks ago and I can get them right on this screen and talk to them like face to face like this. Now, why haven't I? I've been procrastinating because I have a nervousness about it that I have to get over. I have to build my confidence. And technically I have to practice that a little bit. Because I know how to mix the show as you see it right now to the extent that I do, and it just takes a little time for me to get used to what I'm doing. I'm all alone here. I don't have a real Jules. I just have the pretend Jules, and boy, do I appreciate you. I want the real life thing right there. I will treat you with respect, and you will serve me, Jules, right? I know, stop being... Okay, I'm proud of you, Copy, because that means you are an alpha bird. You aren't taking my shit, and when I say I'm going to steal your woman there, and she's going to be my bird, you get pissed off, but yeah, I know I'm being silly, and you know I'm being silly, right? You do know I'm being silly. Okay, so I'm rambling on, and some people may not be interested. They tune out. I really don't care. I like the long format. People are like, you got to make shorts. That's not the kind of content I want to create, but I will take short clips and put them online for the sake of trying to seed a bigger audience who's interested in the long form. This long form is what I want to do. I don't like the short attention spans in people. We'll keep saying it. We hope society outgrows the short phenomenon. Alrighty then. You understand? I could be streaming this on YouTube. That's another thing I want to do. And the reason I haven't been is I also feel nervous about that too, because I'm going to start streaming and I'm not going to realize that I'm breaking some copyright rule, and then they're going to be like, stream cut off. And I do like the interactivity, and I also think it's going to distract me if I have interactivity with people. I have to get used again to the idea. I have to become accustomed once more to the idea of people watching live, because I'm going to get all flustered and weird. So I'm going to move on now, and we're going to talk about the second thing on my agenda, which is kind of funny and interesting in my view. And what that is there's a man, I believe he's a porn star, right? Let me put you on this screen over here while I surf his stuff. I believe this is a porn star, a man named Stirling Cooper, okay? Award-winning author, YouTuber, improve your sex life. I think he's a former porn star or current porn star. He's another sort of manosphere alpha dude who's trying to make people better. And so he's followed by Rollo. He's followed by that lady, Jedidiah YT, who I like more and more. The more I listen to her, I think she's cool. I'll have to do some commentary on her stuff right now. And I know it's like, I want to be more imaginative here because, frankly, everybody's doing these reaction videos, right? And just because I have pretty surroundings, I have to somehow make it interesting myself. I have to be special enough myself to do this, to make it interesting. And I'm not done talking about Mr. Pornstar here, okay? We will come back to this screen right here, and we will return to the previous screen where I wanted to read this thing right here. He says this right here: men who collect Funko Pops like to be the little spoon in bed. So that's a knock at men such as myself, because I personally like collecting Funkos. I collect Funkos. What's the big deal? So you have these manosphere guys who are like they're all macho, and that's cool. I don't have any problem with macho dudes. In fact, I'm glad that there's a guy like Stirling Cooper out there who is just willing to be balls to the wall manly and inspire young, weak guys to be better. And I want to do that too, but I'm not nearly as effective as a dude named Stirling Cooper. But why do you have to take pot shots and swipes at guys? Like, you really think it's that bad when a guy has a collection of Funkos? Seriously? Because I personally like Funkos, okay? Let's take a look at my collection right here really quick, okay? I have Funkos. Axl Rose, Duff McKagan, Slash, Vince Neil, the whole Motley Crue guys. Those are bobbleheads. We have Lemmy from Motorhead. That's the mascot from Motorhead. I don't think these images are super beta at all. And that is... so these are guys I idolize. That's Eddie Murphy. That's Kerry King from Slayer. We have Lars from Metallica, James Hetfield. These are very macho men. Some of them a little brainless, granted. And there was, and so this whole like shrine in my basement has to do with, it's like a tribute to Sunset Boulevard and to Los Angeles and California. I love that place despite having a lot of problems with it. I really, I like this collection. Okay, so like, let's come back and look around at these things here. What do we have? What's my favorite one in the collection? The first one I ever got was Lemmy. Okay, there's Lemmy right there. That's the first one I ever got with the black hat. No, wait. It's not the one with the black hat. I have 4 versions of Lemmy. One of them is not visible in this video. And so this is the first one I bought right here. You can see Dio in the background. I have like a spot where I set it up downstairs. And frankly, I'm not insecure about my masculinity being insulted by Stirling Cooper. That's fine. Have your opinion, whatever. I'm sure that if I walked around in your house, I'd probably find something where I was like, oh, okay, I'm not into that, but I don't have to insult your masculinity or your manhood in order to like just not agree. It's not a Cabbage Patch doll. I don't have Elton John Funkos. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're little dolls, they're little figurines, but I like it. If you see my basement, you get how these things, I'm not buying the Wizard of Oz Funkos. I'm not buying Avengers Funkos and Iron Man Funkos. These are all very specifically Rockstar Funkos. And I'm probably going to get a Ronnie James Dio Funko and make him hang out with my two birds here because that's what I want to fucking do. And so these are cool. And I honestly don't have a problem with Stirling Cooper. He can have that opinion. And it's like, and I'm not angry. It's not like I'm going to, if he pissed me off, I would say something insulting probably, but I'm not pissed off. I just am who I am. I'm not in the least bit shy about owning a Funko collection. It's just what I like. And it's just, this is only part of my basement I have devoted to like a little Hollywood sort of area where it's all Hollywood themed. I have the pot plant there. As you can see, I'm a Dio fan. This particular black book over here is like, I bought a memorial package when he died, and that's one of the things they sent me, including like a Dio t-shirt. And so I like that. I dig it. That's my deal. I cut that video for you guys today. What do you think of that? It's nothing super special, but be that as it may, it's what I wanted to show you. Yeah. Excuse me. Very manly man. I just belched. I belched my butt off. And so I'm going to come over here. What's next on the agenda? Okay. Oh, yeah. As far as that goes, let me just say one more thing. I was concerned more about having a Funko collection like that. It appears like I have all these false idols. And I tell myself they're just people. They're people I like. They're people I admire. In some ways, I love a lot of them. Some of them I think are assholes personally. Like Gene Simmons. I like Gene Simmons, but he's a giant asshole, in my opinion. I don't feel necessarily good about saying that about a person, but he's said some things the last few years. I'm just like, fuck. One time I told him to shut the fuck up on Twitter, and he blocked me. And then he went out in public and he apologized. I don't remember what the issue was, but he didn't unblock me after he apologized for the thing that I told him to shut the fuck up for. And so, but that's okay. I'll just move on. Yeah, but what I was saying was, would there be a difference if I had a Harry Potter Funko? That would show that what a weak man I am. What if it were like a Britney Spears Funko or something ridiculous like that? I'm just saying. Okay, I want to watch Jedidiah over here.
You can hang
okay,
out with your friends and not be in the party scene, honey.
Hold on, beautiful. Hold on, beautiful. And she is. I'm not going to get super Howard Stern on her, but she is a beautiful lady. And I'm even more attracted to her because she has brains between her ears, okay? I'm liking her more and more, and I'm actually grateful. Rollo has actually opened up a world to me of people that I really like. Some of them he doesn't like. Some of them Rollo calls an idiot. I'm just making sure I have this on the right page over here. And so here we go. We're going to start this one over.
Who is there some sort of memo that says that in order for girls to spend time with their friends, they have to go out and be drunk in party settings? No.
Oops.
So this excuse that they give of like, oh, I need to party because I just want to spend time with my friends. No. If you wanted to just spend time with your friends,
there are all kinds of things people could be doing. Let's get real.
At their house, you'd sit, you'd have a chat,
yes,
you'd have some food,
of course.
You'd watch a movie, you'd make some food. No. You want to be out in the party scene because you want to be seen by guys. You want the attention. You want to get some drinks. You want to get a little sloppy. You want to maybe get into a little bit of trouble that night. Yeah. You want to feel sexy and wanted, and
whatever.
you want to behave badly.
Yeah.
That's why you're in the party scene.
Yes. Okay, that's it, I guess. That's nothing. That's very short. I like this lady the more I listen to her talk. Jedidiah. Did I refer to her as Jebediah before? Because if I did, I apologize. I can do better than that. So she's an interesting lady, and she's she's obsessed on Twitter with proving that the Twitter algorithm doesn't work right, or it's still shadow banning people, and I tend to think that's probably true. And so, but she says a lot of insightful things on Twitter and on her little podcast recording show thing or whatever. Jedediah Bila. It's easy to say Jedediah because that's like the only dude name I was familiar with before I heard this. Jedediah Bila. Like her, check her out. Appreciate you. Hopefully that song at the end of that is not copyrighted, because the other day I played a song by Amala, which is what I'm going to play right now. And it annoyed me to discover at the end of my recording that song got a copyright notice on YouTube. And it's just like, oh, fuck, so stupid. Okay, yeah. Here's what I want to say about the copyright fucking bullshit before I go to Amala. Like, YouTube will strike you. They'll demonetize you if you use something that is copyright regulated or whatever. If you violate copyright. It's like, no money for you, YouTube user. But you can keep that up there. You just don't get to monetize. But they'll still probably play ads in front of your video that you're creating, and YouTube will take an advertiser benefit for having a content creator that violated copyright. So somehow YouTube has negotiated a way out of YouTube's responsibility for copyright infringement. I'd like to know the explanation for that. Well, they're filthy rich. They can do whatever they want. And it's not really my plan to monetize videos here in the traditional sense. I'm just seeing where this goes. I would like to build a following, and I'm anxious because I think eventually it's going to get cut off, because I say a lot of things that rub people the wrong way. I was going to say I shouldn't say them, but I should say them. Because they're based in truth, and when it's not based in truth, you have to fight against the systems that don't let things based in truth thrive. And so, speaking of truth, I want to reload this right here with Amala, and we want to hear what this
or
is
a
about.
girl.
Oh yeah.
And Mash answers, "I'm just a kid."
But kids can be boys or
They can be
This bugs
Based.
me.
You hear that little kid? He goes, but kids can be boys or girls.
boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
So kids know at the end of the day. And there's so many videos I see of this, of parents trying to teach their kids their own worldview, and it's a very left-leaning progressive worldview, and then kids going,
Yes.
no, that's still a boy. Because kids know this stuff and they feel it, but it's neither here nor there, because you can teach kids anything. They are very malleable, they're moldable, and you can very quickly have their brains changed and their minds changed on a subject.
You can confuse the shit out of them. And you better believe I have a problem with that. And kids are vulnerable to this up through their teen years. And so I would be furious if that were my kid in that video with that person doing that with those little kids that age. What do you what is your big emotional investment in that? I don't even understand it ideologically. Why do you want to do that? Why don't you care about little kids? Just let them be little kids. Why do you have to impose that on them? And what is it about doing that makes you feel better about yourself? They talk about how it's a social convention, and yet so it was said to me recently by my cousin. I think it's actually very wise that things like this are not sustainable because, I'm paraphrasing, things like this are not sustainable because it is not based in truth. And if you're not based in truth, you can't sustain a bunch of nonsense. You can surely disrupt society, though. You know what the truth is? Mentally, people are super vulnerable. They are vulnerable to manipulations. They are vulnerable to brainwashing. They're vulnerable to collective thought and peer pressure and all sorts of coercion to do things. These last 2 years are the best examples of what I'm saying in the entire history of the human race. I don't like saying that because Donald Trump does that. In the history of our country, this is the most fill in the blank. And I don't like that. But I do think it's true. I have this book on my shelf called Rape of the Mind, which was also recommended to me by my cousin. And it illustrates so clearly. It was published by a Jewish author who is a psychologist in like 1954. And it's about how vulnerable the human psyche is, how easily human beings can be programmed, molded, fooled, deceived, and through torture, mentally and physically, forced to comply to an entirely different reality. They're like the metaphors of that on 1984 when it's like, how many fingers am I holding up? Or Star Trek, which my cousin likes to joke about. How many lights are there, Captain Picard? Torture. Like, human beings are vulnerable psychologically. And that's what's happening on a mass scale right now. And that's why we should look at cell phones and internet and social media and screens and the way TV works and the influence of media, news media, polarization politically, binary politics that pull you one way, the other side pulls you the other way. And then like analyze thinking critically about those things. Never has there been a time in history, certainly not in my life, where it's never been more loud and poignant that people are completely fucked up when it comes to the truth. Like, words must mean something. If they don't mean something and they're not consistent, that does not make a solid foundation for the proliferation and the sustainability of society. And of course, I'm using the non-propagandized sense of the word when I use the word sustainability. It is not propagandized when I use the word sustainability. It's the true meaning. And I'm just disturbed about that. How you can do that to little kids. I am adamantly opposed to that. And it is not raw hate, because as adults, I want adults to be able to do what they want to do. You're an adult. You're free. You should be able to make the choices you want to do. But when you start indoctrinating children, confusing children, sexualizing children, talking to children, boy, that all bothers me. I don't want to talk to other people's kids about sex. It's not my place to do so. That is the providence of the parents and the parents only. And so you send your kids off to school, and if that's happening and that pisses you off, pull your fucking kids out of school. Because my fucking opinion is, it's been this for a while now, fuck public school. Take your kids out of public school. Having your kids not go to school at all is better than having them go to an indoctrination factory. You better believe your motherfucking asses. It disturbs me, and I'm pissed off about it. I'm genuinely pissed off about it. And my anger is justified, and my anger is righteous indignance. Not sorry about it. Never going to be sorry about it. Leave other people's kids alone. I leave your kids alone. I'm not going to go and talk to about sex with your freaking kids. I feel strongly about it. I'm not going to change. I'm not saying we shouldn't be able to have responsible conversations with kids, but this has leapt way beyond the realm of responsible, okay? So if this channel ever grows, a conversation like this might stay up there for a while, but as soon as it has any reach, or if I have any reach, and they start to realize I'm one of the disruptors who says whatever he wants, they'll cut it off. And I'll be sad with that when that happens. And I will just invest my time on another platform. And I'll be sad because YouTube in so many ways technically is the best place to be. They've really done an amazing job from a technical standpoint building it out. You can't even put in a comment something about how, oh yeah, we know the truth, YouTube, and regardless of you censoring the truth, we can say the truth, and we can say it anywhere else, and you can't stop us there. They can just stop us here. So the algorithm is listening to every single word I'm saying, and it'll get better, and it'll understand what I'm saying, and eventually it'll just like, oh no, like cut that dude off. This video can't be seen because he's spewing truth, and if he keeps it up, and if people come and they hear too much of it, if too many people come and listen, then we just got to cut them off, cut them out. I've seen it happen. I've known people it's happened to. It'll happen to me too. It is ponderous. It is annoying. And so that's the end of that Amala clip. And I like her. I just have to remember not to what do you call it? Use her music. Okay, so this last clip I have here, this is the last clip of the day. Yo. Oh, by the way, I heard today, which is so vastly annoying, that now the word dude is controversial. Saying brother and dude is controversial. Apparently it's right wing. Something's wrong with it now. I grew up with friends. I remember in junior high being like, dude, and we were all feeling so cool because we all said dude, but apparently that is becoming another one of those things. And that's what they do. They try to control language. Words mean something. And so if something like dude connects a group of people or two individuals, they like to say, hey, dude, what's up? And they like that. They like that way of talking to one another. But someone has to be like getting in between that and making that controversial. And they want us all to be boring automatons, homogeneous in every boring sense, no gender, no men and women, just this boring, homogeneous, genderless human being that is the same as this person next to me, having all the same thoughts as the person next to me. This word is bad. We both know it. And even though one of us might think there's nothing really wrong with it, we are forced to lie in this context. Not very cool. I know. So we come over here now and we listen to this Rollo video. Okay, this is 7 minutes. Let me see how far into. I'm 31 minutes into this. This is certainly not going to be the longest one I've done. Let's hear what you have to say, Rollo.
I was hoping I was going to go head-to-head with Imran Ahmed on Dr. Phil about this topic, but we never got around to it. But I'm seeing it make another sort of comeback right now, that we're radicalizing the incels of the world. They're all going to be murderous, rampaging, you're going to go...
That's what I mean. Everything we do in life.
But they're all going to turn into murderous, rampaging, radicals. And there's an FBI study about
Pardon me, Rollo. I'm cutting in. This is what I'm talking about here. That anything they can do to emasculate strong men with good ideas, they do it. And so you actually bring men up. You improve the world. And so they got to demonize that. They got to stop that. And let's say Andrew Tate is guilty of what they said he did. He's also responsible for empowering a lot of men. And that just simply must stop. We can't go around having empowered men in the world when a tiny little elite group of fatzos like Bill Gates on the top of the pyramid want to control and dominate us. No, we got to stop these people. How dare these men try to make the world a better place?
Sphere, and guys like Andrew Tate are radicalizing today's youth, just like the Arab Spring or something. Like they're all sexless, they have no prospects, and so they were just ripe for the picking for like Boko Haram or something.
They're missing the point. They're radicalized because they're sexless, not because of red pill.
Right. That's the distinction between frustration and depression because you can't get any action, and being enlightened. They're trying to demonize the ideology that you guys represent. It's not ideology. In fact, I know how all the time Rollo says it's empirical, it's praxeology. And I agree. But my point is the people demonizing it are trying to demonize it, and they will say like it's an ideology. If it's just empirical, it's not what is causing people. But when you call it an ideology from the side that is demonizing it, then that makes their job all the easier. Like you demonize it if you want to if they want to tear you guys down.
They're forgetting the point. 80% of men on dating apps are deemed unattractive. That's why they're being radicalized.
Yeah.
So I have a study for that.
That's why there's a lot of depression with guys, because it feels hopeless, and that is part of what has. Like I was just mentioning the cell phones earlier and the social media, that's part of what is like really doing a dreadful number on the human condition, social relations. It's social chaos. It's the precipitation of society's downfall, in my opinion. And we better be fucking careful with it. People should be making wiser decisions about how they're raising their kids. You can't raise your kids on these screens unfettered, unrestricted, and then wind up with a healthy result. It's so important for parents to know this and take charge. Adults can't freaking regulate their behaviors with these things. And so how can you expect kids to be okay when you let them have unfettered, unrestricted access to freaking cell phones and social media and all this crap? It riddles the minds of adults who are supposed to be strong people, but it'll fuck anybody up. Read the book, Rape of the Mind. I think the author's name is Justice Merleau. It's for sale on Amazon. I highly recommend it because you'll be like, oh my God, this guy had all this perception about the way humanity works in 1954, and we are so far beyond that now with 1 million cable channels and Netflix and all the wokeness, the equity, the inclusion. Oh my God. And the, what is the other one? It's DEI. D stands for equity, inclusion. What does the D stand for again? Oh my, I can't just do this. We have to come over here and we have to figure out what that is. DEI meaning, what is diversity? Aha! My brain figured it out on its own. Let's go and let's hear what Rollo has to say.
Radicalization may be often fueled by obsessive compulsive disorder. This is from a psychological study, okay? Across 4 ideological samples of the United States, Republican, Democrat, and Muslim, we found direct effects between obsessive compulsive disorder symptoms and radical intentions, as well as indirect effect of OCD on radical intentions via obsessive passion. You just said that, right? Okay. Even after controlling for
Hey, I think I have that a little bit. I have that. Fucking A. This show's gonna get me kicked off of YouTube. As soon as I take off, they're gonna be canceling the shit out of me. I can tell because I say more crazy shit than Rollo. I'm not saying that I have mastery of all the topics, but my opinions are verboten. And they stay in a safe zone kind of when they talk, and I'm not faulting them. They've built platforms here. They're dependent on it. And so like I'm the one, I don't have the dependency, so right now I'm just speaking my mind. And I don't know. Eventually I'm going to have to make a new platform my home. I don't want to do that, but we'll see.
Confounds like adverse childhood experiences, anxiety, depression, substance abuse. These effects remained robust, implying that OCD plays a significant role in the formation of violent ideological intentions and opening up new avenues for the treatment and prevention of violent extremism. Okay, so were they already fucked up before they found the manosphere? Were they already fucked up before they found the Democrat?
Well, yeah, emotionally, you guys aren't influencing people to be fucked up. If anything, you're empowering the vast majority of people. So if you have a fucked up person, it doesn't matter what you introduce them to. It could process through their fucked up brain and yield a really screwed up result. By the way, separate subject, I'm always looking at other graphics people do, and I love the way AI can produce like these cartoon-looking images. And Sartain always has these cool images on his show, like on the TV there. I always like stuff like that. Felt like I wanted to mention it.
The Republicans, their religion, whatever it is, or was it the religion that fucked? Was it Marilyn Manson that convinced them to go and kill everybody? Was it Judas Priest who did?
There's always a scapegoat for everything. I am the convenient scapegoat for a lot of people in my life at different time periods, including now. There's always the scapegoat that superficial people will blame when something goes amiss. It doesn't even have to be grounded in reality. This is the human condition that we always have to fucking live with.
Convince them with their violent lyrics to go and kill their parents.
Rollo, it was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I have to admit, I'm old.
You know what?
No,
You could make a case for 5th edition. I might give that to you.
Well, you know, it's just
Fuck that D&D. I used to play The Bard's Tale on Commodore 64, part 1, 2, and 3, and I ended the second, I ended the third, but the first one had a glitch. I couldn't end that one, but it never made me want to hurt anyone. I enjoyed it, and I would love to play it again.
like they don't.
Very much like D&D. That's why I bring that up.
I got articles here, and this is from a book. It's called the justice against, or the war against male justice, right? And here's a quote, right? Jocelyn Friedman says, "Divorcing masculinity from misogyny needs to start younger. Traditional masculinity needs to be limited because it's going to be harmful to us by our boys."
If I understood what the hell he just said, traditional masculinity needs to be limited because people are fucking assholes that want to dehumanize men, shame men for being men. We are who we are. There are good men, there are bad men. But you can't just say because you're a man, you're bad. Fuck that shit, dude. I'm fed up with it.
This is a quote.
Those are just asshole ideologues.
Ma-
Those are just asshole ideologues who say things like that. Because it's unconscionable that they fucking say something like that. That's outrageous.
Masculinity, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and that was from The Guardian in March of 2018. It's like, they're a push to try to label anything masculine misogynistic,
toxic.
Yeah,
I do believe that's on purpose. You know,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm so familiar with this topic, and I'm so fed up with what they're saying because it's very true, and that's why we need to. That's why I fucking commend you guys. Continue on with the strongman movement. I'm not ever gonna be an Andrew Tate. I'll try to be the best I can be. To use the words of a Mr. Hunter Avallone, what a fucking genius. But I actually mean it when I'm saying it. I'm trying to improve myself and grow all the time, build value, be better.
Definitely, there's a slant of Marxism with feminism.
Oh, fuck yes. Every marginalized group is being catered to by the Marxist ideology.
With this Faustian theory, or this Malthusian theory, you know, about
population control.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me roll this one out here. John Conchar says, "This panel has been immensely helpful to me, specifically Cappy, MLD, and Rollo. 21 years old, and I lost 40 pounds of fat. Wow.
Awesome.
And put
That's
on
cool.
20 pounds of muscle in the last 2 years.
That's
No
really
debt, 20,000 in savings so far. Thank you."
I love those kind of then and now stories when people lose weight, when they get working out. Your life can only be better if you improve your sleep, if you improve your nutrition, and you improve your exercise. It can only be better. Do all those things I just said. If those things don't make you feel better, there's something really fucking wrong. And then you need to go get professional help if you can't deal after doing those things.
For my unplugging.
Don't you have debt from
Does
all
that guy sound like he's angry and pissed off and is OCD and is going to
Sounds like
be
he hates the
potential
world. He just hates
radical?
the world.
Does that sound...
Well, but I hate
No,
that.
because most of these guys who are truly influenced by the manosphere are a good story. They're like what you want to hear. You're always, if you take 1,000 people, you're always going to have some fucking crazy troubled person in there, and it doesn't speak for the whole group. But that's how you can tell when there's an agenda against, like, something empowering in this group undermines our ability to seize power in the world, so we must stop it. We must banish the narrative. I am tired of it, sirs.
Point that shit out so people don't from the outside looking in don't go, oh, these guys sound like they're trying to anything we're talking about here is going to sound like we're radicalizing. Go ahead, what did you say?
Oh, what I was going to say is I cannot.
It's not going to sound like that. It's going to be characterized like that. It's going to be mischaracterized like that by assholes.
Give up on the idea, though, that laziness drives a lot of this. Where there is mental illness, there is OCD, like something genuinely wrong. But if you look at some of the more radical leftists, they just don't want to work. That's all it is. And they will rationalize some pretty horrific sins, basically theft being one of them, bailing me out of student loans. I'm entitled to everyone else to slave away and pay more taxes.
No.
But
excuse me, though. It goes deeper than laziness. We're talking about people who've never had ingrained in them a good fundamental moral foundation in life for who they are. Morality, like things that should matter. When you have a secularized society and culture, you're pulling people away from a good moral foundation. That's what we're living in now. It's tragic as hell. So it's not merely laziness is part of that. Laziness is part of the pie that causes people to go haywire like that.
also see where this laziness is the common unifying factor, or at least a contributing factor on all these things. Whether you're a radical whatever terrorist or a radical leftist, or you're one of these incels mowing people down. You ever look at these people on their face? Like, I'm not big physiognomy. I think that's the way you pronounce
Physiognomy
it.
is real. Yes.
It's like you're a fat, disgusting, ugly piece of.
Oh yeah, this is what another one of my cousins says. He says, "If it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, it's a duck." And so yeah, and so what am I? I mean, like, I'm wearing the distressed flag shirt today. This has I do happen to believe in 2A. And I didn't used to. I was completely on the side of let's get rid of guns until I grew up and I woke up and I realized how tyrannical and malevolent government is. It's scary.
Who put no effort into any physical self-improvement.
This show's gonna be over
There's a G
soon.
in there, so I don't know how to pronounce it. But
Physiognomy.
Physiognomy.
But when I look at
Physiognomy.
someone advocating
These
fat
big words.
acceptance, it ain't a good-looking, hard-working person. When I hear someone advocating socialism, it ain't an engineer or a lineman or anyone who actually works a real job. It's always these fat, parasitic fucks who are ugly and don't want to work. But that laziness transcends.
It's not always.
We need to make a T-shirt of that. Don't be a fat
It
person.
is a lot. Yeah, like it's that a lot. Laziness doesn't always manifest in someone being heavy set, but gosh, it sure happens in this period of this country a lot, right?
So how about this? So you notice that the people who are complaining are never
like Richard Dawkins, the selfish gene. The other day I was watching this. I was watching Michael Sartain, and I saw that in there, and I was like, I should buy that book. And I started looking it up, and I never bought it. And then I was just sitting here before starting the show tonight, and I'm like, looking over at my my shelf there, and I'm like, fuck, I already own that book. It's already in my collection. I have a big library because I go from one thing to the other. I'm probably going to buy Ryan Stone's newest book and read that. And I don't know when I'm going to do that. Well, I'm finishing up Rollo's fourth book. I have about 50 pages left, and it's depressing the shit out of me. But it's so straight up reality, and I would rather be depressed. I would rather be melancholy from reality than delusional and happy, if that makes sense. I think I get more out of life artistically when I'm melancholy from the truth than I am delusional and happy.
high
I guess
testosterone.
that makes sense for me.
That's true. And the reason why I'm not trying to say because it's essentially our
dinging.
but our perspective is super
Every
chat.
time we get a super chat, yes, and we're getting a lot of them.
Here we
Thank you.
go.
Keep it going. That's good.
Dude, you, what's that dinging? You, sir, are just divorced from reality. Here you are on a very popular YouTube show, and you're like, what's that dinging? Super chat. Does he know what a super chat is? You should have said after you said it's a super chat, dude. Do you know what that is? Oops, I said dude. Oh my god, that's so bad. I said dude.
We'll read them.
Here's the idea. So, do you guys remember the whole thing with Victoria's Secret? They're like, we're going to put different body types up there.
Yeah.
And because they legitimately believe that seeing those different body types up there would make men be attracted to different.
And that's such a great thing you're pointing out. I had this one very heavy-set girl I wasn't attracted to in college. She said she was attracted to me and wanted to be with me, and I was like, no. And somehow she found out that I just wasn't attracted to her. I didn't say it outright meanly or anything. I wasn't attracted to her because she was super heavy-set, and plus she had a personality like Godzilla. And I swear, it's true. I swear to Godzilla. She shamed the shit out of me for not liking her for being heavy set. And it wasn't, she actually, what I was bringing up from what Michael Sartain was bringing up was, she said it was because society like programs that in you. No, I think there are biologically, that's like the way we're wired, is to be there's like a true form of beauty for the most part. And people either have it or they don't have it. Or you have degrees where it's like, okay, I wound up being born in life and I look fairly good in my opinion. And a lot of people fall in that category, but no way. There's nothing about Sports Illustrated and this shop they're talking about. what is it? Victoria's Secret. When they do that with the plus size stuff, I literally walk by the store in the mall, and where I might have enjoyed looking at a mannequin in a nice whatever, bikini, lingerie, whatever, now I'm like, I don't want to see it. And I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings. That's not my point. It's just that we're wired a certain way, and we're not allowed to be honest about it, and we're shamed for being honest about it. It's a crazy state of affairs, this fucking world we're living in right now.
This is how far. Now, because they're not high testosterone men, no one taught me to like a small waist, signs of youth, large breasts, and a round butt. No one taught me that. No, if anyone has any questions about that, go see Dr. Buss and his 37 culture study.
That's right.
No one taught me to be heterosexual. No one taught me to find women attractive. No one taught me to like sugar, salt, and fat. No one told me to eat carbs and
no one
sugar.
taught John either, but he's going after the
there you go. But like no one taught.
What's a super chat, bro? I don't know what a super chat is. I'm not really making fun of that guy. I have no reason not to like that guy. I'm just like, what's that dinging? I hear a ding on a podcast. That just never would have been me.
No one taught me that, so no one can teach me. So no one can teach me away from it. So whenever we do things,
it's ingrained
that are part
in
of our
nature.
nature. They're like, well, we'll just because of a blank slate theory, which Steven Pinker, criticizes heavily. The idea that this is going to happen. This is where pray the gay away. By the way, for the right, that comes from the same thing. This belief that like my masculinity and my heterosexuality are cultural constructs that have been taught to me, but that's because they don't have fucking 900 free tests. That's the real total testosterone. I don't believe that's the reason why they legitimately because they've never fucking played linebacker, because they've never dunked a basketball, because they've never tackled somebody. That's the reason, or been in a fight. They legitimately think that my predilections are pliable. They are
right. I hear what he's saying. I do think that you can change a person, you can corrupt a person, just like I was saying, rape of the mind. These things are built in innately, and human beings can be malleable and corruptible to a certain extent. So yes, there's the raw nature that's immutable, I think. Unchanging, I think, is what I'm saying. But there's also corruption on top of that, and that's how sophisticated we are as human beings. Now, here's the full graphic over there. I dig this. I just like how they do their graphics. I always like fonts with this distressed texture over the top of it. I always dig that stuff. And I like how they convert everyone into a cartoon here that has some kind of Perkins. What's the deal with Perkins over there? Does that exist still? I want a pie. Give me a pie now, sir. Very good show. You know what? This thing is over. It's over, and it's sort of long, and it's certainly not the longest one I've been doing. I'm going to try and do longer ones. I'm going to have more bits, more silly things I'm doing. Did you guys enjoy this show today? Oh, yeah? It's just you can't relate to the human condition. You only relate to the bird condition. Is that right? Yeah, I get that. I understand. That's fine. Okay. I'm just still trying to make this better for people here, and not just visually. You're not going to tune in for the pretty eye candy. You want something to think about, right? I want to stoke your brain, make you think. And yeah. So, once I get into it, I get rolling, and it's cool. I am going to start this music and say, if you like the show, I appreciate that. Show me your appreciation by liking the video. Share it. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to the Clips channel. Follow on social media. Be a part of this here. You know an interesting story, something you think I should talk about because I have an interesting take on things? Suggest it to me. I'm going to fucking watch Dennis on Def Noodles. I'm going to keep doing that. Sorry. Sorry, does that bug you? Too bad. Too effing bad. That's what I want to do. I still enjoy doing this, even though I had a bad day. This cheered me up. Okay? Everyone, by all means, peace be with you all. Def Noodles makes me laugh. He does. What the fuck? Am I supposed to be ashamed of it?